These videotapes could possibly put all conspiracy theories to rest, or they could reveal unsettling truths about disastrous events. Too bad they will probably never be released to the public, and therefore, details about the events remain mysterious. 9/11 Pentagon gas station tapes. On the morning of September the 11th, 2001, the city of New York in the United States came under attack by terrorists. 4 commercial airliners were hijacked. 2 were crashed into the World Trade Centers, 1 was crashed into the Pentagon, and the other was crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The attack claimed the lives of almost 3,000 people. The official story reports that the attacks were carried out by a terrorist group known as Al-Qaeda. The group was said to be taking orders from the Al-Qaeda leader, Osama bin Laden. However, he first initially denied any involvement in the attacks, but then confessed in 2004. As so many crucial details don't add up, and the fact that the building's collapse looked eerily similar to a controlled demolition, many people believe into the conspiracy theory that 9/11 was an inside job. Conspiracy theorists believe George Bush, along with members of the US government, planned and carried out the attacks as part of a false flag event in order to invade Afghanistan and the Middle East to steal their natural resources. Many inconsistencies come up in the story of 9/11, such as the collapse of Building 7 and plot holes in the 9/11 Commission's official verdict. The theory goes quite in depth and it would take far too long to get into in this video, and for this case, we are just focusing on the Pentagon attack. The official report for the Pentagon attack goes as follows. At 9:24 AM, the Federal Aviation Administration notified the Northeast Air Defense Sector of a possible third hijacking of Flight 77. 13 minutes later, the plane crashed into the western section of the Pentagon, killing 184 people. After images were released of the crash site, many conspiracies came up. In the photos, there is very little debris from the plane. There is also very little damage done to the lawn where the plane crashed. People have analysed the size of the hole in the wall of the Pentagon and have concluded that the hole is far too small to have been impacted by a plane. Therefore, conspiracy theorists believe as part of a false flag, a missile was used to impact the Pentagon instead of a plane. Others believe a remote control plane known as a Global Hawk could have been used. There is some video evidence that could dismiss all the conspiracy theories or prove that the Pentagon was actually hit by a missile. 2 places located close to the Pentagon could have recorded some footage of the crash. The first is a hotel by the name of the Sheraton National Hotel. The FBI visited the hotel and confiscated the surveillance tapes, but claimed the cameras didn't capture the attack. The second place is a gas station. The Citgo gas station, located southwest of the Pentagon, would have captured the attack, as many of the store's security cameras are facing towards the Pentagon. Within minutes of the attack, the FBI went to the gas station and confiscated the tapes. A worker at the gas station by the name of Jose Velasquez claims that the security camera would have captured the attack. Even though the security cameras might have captured the crash, the video footage will probably never be released to the public. The only video of the Pentagon attack which was released was this grainy footage captured from a Pentagon security camera. Original Apollo 11 moon landing footage. On July 16, 1969, NASA launched a Saturn V rocket from the Kennedy Space Center. It was heading for the moon. The astronauts were Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. On July 20, 1969, the Apollo 11 landing capsule and his crew, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, landed on the moon. Neil Armstrong exited first and therefore was the first man on the moon. He then uttered the iconic phrase,
"It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
The landing made history and goes down as one of the greatest achievements by the human race. It also fulfilled President Kennedy's promise of placing a man on the moon by the end of the decade and in effect brought an end to the space race. The event was broadcast on live TV to a worldwide audience of 600 million people. Although the footage was quite bad quality, did you know that the astronauts actually had high quality cameras with them and filmed footage? However, NASA claims to have lost this footage. The astronauts took with them high quality 16mm film Super 8 cameras and captured good quality footage of the moon. NASA claims to have lost these tapes. There has been many conspiracy theories that suggest the moon landing was fake, such as the inconsistencies with the footage itself. But first, let's take a look at some scientific points which claim it would be impossible for a manned rocket to make it to the moon. The Van Allen radiation belt seems to be proof among scientists that we didn't go to the moon. The radiation belt is a layer of energetically charged particles which surround the Earth. The particles are held in place by the Earth's magnetic field. The radiation levels vary, but still remain damaging to a human's health. Just for a comparison, the radiation has been measured up to 25 sievert, but 5 sievert is a deadly dose to humans. Due to this, many people believe the moon landing was fake. So how did they fake it? The most compelling conspiracy theory is the Stanley Kubrick conspiracy theory. This suggests that film director Stanley Kubrick helped the US government fake the landing. There are two different points to start off with. Stanley Kubrick's incredible 1969 film, 2001: A Space Odyssey, was far ahead of its time and contained visually stunning cinematography. Conspiracy theorists believe the US government either reached out to Stanley after the release of the film, or the film was a research and development project for the Apollo 11 mission. Either could be possible. Once Stanley released The Shining in 1980, many people believe the movie contained proof that Stanley helped fake the moon landing. Strangely enough, in the movie, there are actually several scenes that hint to the moon landing, such as the scene which shows Danny standing up from the ground wearing an Apollo 11 sweater which illustrates the launch of the rocket. Some people even say the section of the floor in which he rises from is identical to the Apollo 11 launch pad. Theorists also believe room 237 was a production room in which the landing was faked, as the only words listed on the door equals to moon room. Along with this, people believe Jack Nicholson's character represented Stanley and showed his battle as he had to hide the secret production from his family. This is where the iconic line "all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy" comes into play. People believe this represents Stanley's increasing struggle with pressure of such a major task, which spared him no time to work on films that he actually wanted to produce. Many other hints come up during the film. Theorists believe he used a method known as front screen projection in order to fake the footage. It is known that NASA allowed Stanley Kubrick to use one of their cameras while working on The Shining. There has been speculation that Stanley revealed hidden secrets and ongoings of the government and the elite in his following films. So is it possible that Stanley Kubrick could have helped fake the moon landing? There is much more to the theory than what's mentioned in this video. If NASA didn't lose the original high quality tapes, then they would be able to prove once and for all that we did go to the moon. Princess Diana tunnel videotapes. Princess Diana died on the 31st of August 1997. She left behind her two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. She was remembered for her charity work in which she was involved in. Some included her campaigns for animal protection and helping the homeless, drug addicts and the elderly. She died in the Pont d'Alma tunnel in Paris after she was involved in a car crash. Her companion Dodi Fayed and the driver Henry Paul also died as a result of the crash. The only survivor was Princess Diana's bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones. After her death, an investigation was launched to find out what caused the car to crash. The investigators had concluded that the crash was due to Henry Paul being drunk while driving and the pursuing paparazzi chasing the car. Her death was ruled as an unlawful killing due to the gross negligent acts of the driver. 6 days after the fatal crash, her funeral took place. The event was broadcast worldwide on television. 2.5 billion people tuned in to watch it. After her death, many conspiracy theories came up, and even Dodi Fayed's dad, Mohammed Al-Fayed, had stated that the crash was a result of a conspiracy and was orchestrated by the British secret intelligence known as the MI6 under instructions of the royal family. Although this was dismissed by a French judicial system, Mohammed Al-Fayed appealed against it and continued to make allegations and claimed the Duke of Edinburgh, the Prince of Wales and many others plotted to kill the princess as they couldn't tolerate the idea of her marrying a Muslim. Mohammed's lawyers accepted the inquest that there was no direct evidence that linked the Duke of Edinburgh or the MI6 to the murder conspiracy surrounding her death. In 2008, Mohammed announced he would end his 10-year campaign to establish that it was a murder rather than an accident. He stated that he stopped for the sake of the princess's children. A conspiracy theory that keeps coming up seems to claim that Diana's driver had a bright laser or light flashed into his field of vision which caused him to crash. A Daily Mail article written by a woman called Sue Reed claims that an ex-SAS sniper known as Soldier N said that members of an elite military regime were responsible for the car crash. The article also claims that a witness saw a high-powered black motorbike speed in front of Diana's car. The article gives a detailed account of witness testimonies which describe a black motorbike which shined a powerful light or laser into the driver's view while it was 15 feet in front of the car. The article then explains that the motorcyclist got off the bike, walked over to the crashed car, then signaled to his passenger that the mission was complete. Now all these conspiracy theories could be put to rest as there are many surveillance cameras in the tunnel in which Diana died. However, people questioned this and it was reported that on the day she died, the traffic cameras were not working. Due to this, no evidence was captured and therefore we must stick to the official conclusion. Virginia Tech Shooter Complete Manifesto. The Virginia Tech massacre occurred on April 16, 2007, taking place on the campus of the Polytechnic Institute and State University in Blacksburg, Virginia. The horrific event claimed the lives of 32 people. Before the Orlando nightclub shooting in June of 2016, the Virginia Tech shooting was the single deadliest mass shooting carried out by a lone gunman in US history. The shooter was 23-year-old Seung-Hoo Cho. He was a senior at the university. He carried out 2 separate attacks which were 2 hours apart. After claiming the lives of his victims, he committed suicide. The attacks received worldwide media attention and actually caused the US government to make changes within their gun control laws. Cho sent a media package to NBC News. The manifesto is said to contain the motivation behind the attack, a confession, and much more information relating to the attack. The manifesto contained over 30 minutes of video footage, 29 photos, and a 1,800-word letter. NBC only chose to show 2 minutes worth of the footage. The footage they released seems to be quite incoherent.
You had 100 billion chances in the ways to have avoided today, but you decided to spill my blood. You forced me into a corner and gave me only one option. The decision was yours. Now you have blood on your hands that will never wash.
Some conspiracy theorists believe the event was a false flag and the shooter was a crisis actor put in place to give a reason in order to tighten gun control laws in America. The remaining 28 minutes of video footage still remain in the possession of NBC and they will probably never release it, so therefore we will not find out major information about the case, such as his motives and so on. Oklahoma City bombing surveillance tapes. The Oklahoma City bombing occurred on April 19, 1995. It was a terrorist attack on the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building located in downtown Oklahoma City. The attack killed 168 people. It was carried out by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. McVeigh used a fertilizer bomb in which he placed into a truck. He then parked the truck in the building's daycare center and headed for the getaway vehicle. 90 minutes after the explosion, McVeigh was pulled over for driving without a license plate and was then arrested for illegal weapons possession. After a forensic investigation was carried out, Terry Nichols was also arrested. McVeigh was executed by lethal injection in 2001. While Terry received a life sentence. After the bombing, many conspiracy theories came up, as there seemed to be quite a lot of mystery surrounding the event. If we take a look at the timeline of events and compare them to the story, some details don't add up. Security footage inside a McDonald's shows McVeigh in there 24 minutes before he had rented the truck. The clothing he is wearing doesn't match the description of witness testimonies or of the truck rental service testimony. Reports say that it took the FBI 44 days to finally get the rental company worker to identify the suspect as McVeigh. Also, pictures were released which seem to show an identical truck parked in a military base just 2 days before the bombing. The base was identified as Camp Gruber. This is an Oklahoma Army Guard National Training Facility. During news coverage of the event, many stations reported multiple explosions going off. This would back the conspiracy theory, which claims additional explosives were planted inside the building. Other conspiracy theories suggest that the US government knew the attacks were going to take place, but failed to act on the information. Many conspiracy theorists believe the US government had some connection to the bombing as part of a false flag operation. All of these conspiracy theories could be put to rest as security footage from nearby buildings could show what actually happened. However, the FBI refused to release them as they stated they were part of a criminal investigation. In 2009, a man by the name of Jesse Trentadew managed to gain access to the tapes under the Freedom of Information Act. He claims all 4 security cameras go blank and stop working just minutes before the explosion. Media outlets that interviewed people who have viewed the tapes claim that there were numerous bombers in action. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our videos. Goodbye.